This class is a ready-to-wear style notch lapel jacket. As you can see from the front, we have notched lapels, we have a single belt pocket at the chest, and there are patch pockets at the hem. When you look at the back, you can see that on the sleeve and on the back, there are no vents. This simplifies construction quite a bit. I've chosen for my jacket a brown and off-white wool tweed. For the lining, I've chosen an acetate jacquard in a coordinating fabric. So this is just the foundation of what we're going to be working with. We also need shoulder pads. The shoulder pads that we need to use for this particular jacket are what are called set-in sleeve shoulder pads, or set-in shoulder pads. As you can see here, the two edges that face each other are along the armhole, so this is a cut edge, and this is the best shoulder pad for a tailored set-in sleeve. Now, people have asked me, and I will probably repeat this again during the lessons, but how do you know which way the shoulder pads face? The mnemonic that I use, because I need something to keep from getting confused, is the fat goes to the front. So as you can see here in this photo, the thicker part of the shoulder pad faces forward. It doesn't hurt to draw arrows on that so you don't have to get confused later. Also, we need a fusible weft. This is a standard kind of gray fusible weft. You can get it in white. You could also use, if you needed to, a fusible tricot, but this jacket is going to be block fused for a simplification of construction, and in my case, it helps to see the front from the back of the fabric. Also, you want a piece of just a thin, like suit weight wool. Wool flannel is the best. This is probably about a half a yard, and we're going to be using this to make the sleeve heads, and you'll see how this works when we get to that portion of the lesson. Also, fusible stay tape. This is got from Gorgeous Fabrics, and as you can see, it's a straight grain ribbon stitched to a bias cut fusible, and for staying armholes and roll lines, it is just the ticket. And finally, as far as tools go, we want a generic adjustable zipper foot. This is a Singer foot, actually, and when we go to the section on installing the notched lapel, this particular foot is going to come in extremely handy. This is the pattern we're going to be starting with. It's the Jessica pattern, number 17 blazer by Closet Core Patterns. It's quite a nice pattern. What I have done here is to mark in black the cutting lines for the size I'm using. And I did it just in red up here, and I'll be talking about this area in a moment. I marked the stitching lines measuring in 5/8 of an inch from the cutting lines. And on this, I have the hem lines marked. So these pieces, once we get all the information onto the white paper, we can just put these away. Now, in the next clip, I'm going to talk about this area in here because it's a little bit confusing in the pattern. So I will have a little sidebar on that before we continue. But once we've continued from there, then we're going to look at the sleeves. In my looking at this pattern, one of the things I find is a little bit confusing, it was confusing for me to see, so I decided I wanted to show you, is this area here. This is the side panel, this is the front panel. You have this very strange jog out here. So what I wanted to show you is that, as you can see here on the side panel, the black lines are the cutting lines, the red lines are the stitching lines, and I'm converting everything to stitching lines for some of the pattern work. I didn't quite know what to make of all of this, so if I put these two together, if I match there, zoom in here. So I've matched at this matching notch here. And so what I had to do is I had to go in and continue this line up to blend up to here. And this is how I got a sense of what this line is on the front. So I hope this eliminates a little bit of confusion. Like I said, this is the side panel, this is the front. So that is what the armhole is going to look like. So what I will be doing here is copying off all of these pieces after I have added the stitching lines. I will be copying everything with just stitching lines for the pattern making. Then we'll add the seam allowances later. But I wanted to clarify this first because it's a little bit confusing. One change I'm going to make to the front of this jacket is to get rid of this here. This works if you're setting in a welt pocket, but since we want a patch pocket, there is a way of getting rid of this. So really what I'm going to be doing is I want to find out midpoint. So this is 1 3/8, so roughly half of that. So I found the midpoint there. And so what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be bringing this line down like so. I'm going to put this in red so you can see it a little better. So here we are. And so this amount here is what we're going to make this dart here. So what that's going to look like. So that is, it doesn't have to be the entire. This looks like it's more like 7/8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and say 5/8. So this is the midpoint here. And so from here to there, that's the dart of 5/8. And then if you look down here, we've added this, and so we're going to subtract it. And so this dart is going to end here. And if we find the midpoint there. So now I'm going to go over this also in red so you can see the change that I've made. So what we've done here is we have changed this in here. And so one last bit here. This is just a little bit of finesse that some people would think, why bother, but why not? So we've picked up about 3/16 of an inch here. So what we're going to do is just bring this up. It's just a little teeny bit, but what will happen then is that the side seam on the body front will actually match the side seam on the side. So here we have the entire front, and the red is the corrected part that we will use. Now you can see here that I copied all of that work on fresh paper. So you can see all of this is done. So what I would say is, at this stage, this is where you're going to make your muslin to test fit if you need to. Now that you've done this to the front, you are ready to generate all of the different pattern pieces for this notched lapel jacket. As you can imagine, we have plenty of work to do. So let's get busy.